My name is Shubhangi Amle, and I'm a research student from Maharashtra. On behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I welcome you all in 1 week e-workshop on Indian knowledge system for national identity and global harmony. For this session, we have an eminent speaker, respected Professor Gauri Mahulikar ma'am, and she will be shared her insights on the topic integrating Indian knowledge system and contemporary knowledge system. Before begin the session, I would like to give a brief introduction of our speaker. Ma'am is working as an academic director of Chinmaya International Foundation and also serve as former vice chancellor of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit, Kerala. Ma'am also has work experience of teaching Sanskrit and mentoring 18 PhD students in University of Mumbai. Ma'am has been awarded numerous awards. Some of them are Savitribai Phule Puraskar, Indira Behre Puraskar, Adya Shri Shankara Puraskar, Kavi Kulguru Sanskrit Sadhana Puraskar, and so on. Ma'am has also published 12 books and more than 150 articles. Due to time limitations, it's not possible to tell about the whole achievements of our speaker. Now, I kindly request Professor Mahulikar ma'am to begin the session and enlighten us with your wisdom. Over to you, ma'am.
How much time do I have?
Uh, 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Is it visible?
Not a. Yes, ma'am. It's visible now.
I have shared it. It shows me
Yes, ma'am.
stop sharing. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am. We can
Okay.
see.
Okay. So integrating IKS and CKS, that is the theme. Let me start with invocation. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् सुरासुरसेवितपादपङ्कज करे विराजत् कमनीयपुस्तका विरिञ्चि पत्नी कमलासनस्थिता सरस्वती नृत्यतु वाचिमे सदा. So I have been into the field of IKS for many long years, and as you got introduced to me that I was former Vice Chancellor of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit. Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit at Chinmaya University was established in 2017, a new university, hardly 7-8 years now. And it's deemed to be de novo university, and the de novo factor is IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems. So I have had, ground experience in integrating IKS in the curricula of CVV. So I think I am little bit adhikari to speak on this particular topic. Now, what is IKS or BKS? Many people prefer to call it not as Indian knowledge systems, but Bharatiya knowledge systems, because India, that is Bharat, and therefore Bharatiya Jnana Parampara Sanskrit. So what is this IKS or BKS? So, IKS is a very vast term, and it can encompass and embrace so many things in so many languages other than Sanskrit as well. As we all know, India is a diverse nation with 28 states and 8 union territories, and there is a variety of languages spoken all across these various states. And language, as we all know, is the carrier of traditions. And as many languages, so many traditions are there. So when you talk about parampara or jnana parampara, the Bharatiya jnana exists in every bit of the language. But I am here concentrating only on Sanskrit because, we can't have that multilingualism in a lecture of 60 minutes, right? And therefore, now I will talk about the Shastras, which are basically known as Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, 14 systems of learning, or Ashtadasha Vidyasthana, 18 branches of learning, and that comprises, along with the 64 kalas, the basic Indian knowledge tradition. Additionally, there are Agama literature, and there are sciences in Sanskrit, and of course, undocumented traditions, oral history, Aitiha, Kimvadanti, and so many songs and stories. They all together, Ahatya, they all together make the ancient wisdom which has passed, which has percolated down to us through so many generations. So this is little bit about IKS. Why do we need the integration? I'll tell about the IKS. I mean exactly what are the Ashtadasha Vidyasthanas and all. But why do we need integration? Because uh, for CVV, as far as CVV was concerned, it was envisioned by Swami Chinmayananda, and and then came NEP 2020. So much before NEP 2020 was on the horizon, Swami Chinmayananda in 1989, when he established this institute, Chinmaya International Foundation, of which I am academic director, envisioned a university here which will be a bridge between the past and the present, the East and the West, the science and spirituality, Pandit and public. So this is the integration, bringing IKS and CKS, Indian knowledge system and contemporary knowledge systems together is an integration, and this was envisioned by this Mahatma much earlier than NEP 2020 came up. And every institute can integrate IKS in their curricula. So we'll briefly see what IKS really comprises of. Now here you see a tree, right? And the tree, which has all flowers, leaves, and all that. But will it be like green forever if the roots are not deep into the soil? It will not. It will topple down, right? It will collapse. It will fall down. So what we see above the soil is, all good to us, but there lies much knowledge below the soil, much potential below the soil, and that is real knowledge. What we see above is the degree. BA, BCom, MBBS, BTech, IIM, this, that, so many degrees are there. So there are so many courses and colleges give the degrees, and we have the standard of living, our job and everything. But what lies below is the knowledge par excellence and the standard of life, not living, but standard of life. And this is what we come across when we say the root of this tree, which is seen around, the root is IKS, and that is Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. Later on, I'll come to Ashtadasha also. So you name any branch of knowledge which is contemporarily taught and studied in universities and colleges, and that can be linked with one or the other, one or many of the Indian knowledge systems, branches of knowledge. So this, in fact, gives you the strong foundation of the IKS. Now, this IKS roughly comprises of the four Vedas. Four Vedas are like the Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, right? And then there are six Vedangas. Six Vedangas are Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chanda, and Jyotisha. Perhaps many of these names are not known to you. You perhaps haven't heard these names, but these are the technical sciences which help one understand the meaning of the Veda, meaning of the Rig Veda. And therefore, I'm in a lecture, and so these are the six Vedangas. Shiksha is the science of pronunciation, articulation. Vyaka Shiksha Kalpa. Kalpa are the rituals They are further divided into sutras, you know, like Griha Sutra, Shrauta Sutra, Dharma Sutra, Shulba Sutra, and all that. That is Kalpa. Then Vyakarana Nirukta both deal with word. Vyakarana is the grammar, and Nirukta deals with the etymological science. And the first ever etymological science book was written in India much before the West even was dawned up. It was 700 to 800 before the common era by one person called Yaskacharya. Much before the linguistics, you know, the Saussure and other people, they started dealing with phonetics, phonology, and semantics and other things, you know, philology and all that. Much before that, Yaska had given the science of etymology and the science of the word science in his Nirukta. So Vyakarana Nirukta, and then Chanda Jyotisha. Chanda is the prosody. All the Vedic mantras are written in some or the other chanda. We are popularly knowing, you know, we all know the popular Gayatri mantra. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Or we may also know Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, which is in Gayatri meter. There are other meters like Anushtup, Trishtup, Jagati, Pankti, Brihati, Prastara Pankti, and so many of them. So the science of all that, that is in the Prasodi, in the Chanda Shastra, written by Pingala Muni in the Sutra form. And last comes Jyotisha. Jyotisha is not palmistry. Jyotisha is not even restricted to Jataka or the Kundali, the piece of paper, but Jyotisha basically deals with the Graha Jyotisha, the Graha Ganita. So it's based on the mathematical calculations, and it has the gati, the movement of the grahas and nakshatras, the luminous bodies in the sky, basically. Okay, so that is Jyotisha. So 4 plus 6, this makes 10. Okay, and then 4 more are Upangas. Upangas consist of Itihasa Purana. So Itihasas are 2 Itihasas in India, Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are not mythology, they are not fictitious stories, they are true, they are Itihasa, factual, which has happened. And Puranas, Itihasa Purana forms one Anga, Upanga, then Dharma Shastra, then Nyaya and Mimamsa. These 4 are Upangas. So 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, and 4 Upangas make Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, 14 lores or branches of knowledge. And then we add 4 more to that, the Upavedas, and that becomes 18. And the Upavedas are, you know, like each Veda, Rug, Yajus, Sama, Atharva, you know, right? Now each of these Vedas has one subordinate Veda to that. So Rug Veda has Ayurveda as its Upaveda. Then Yajurveda had Dhanurveda, archery. Dhanurveda is basically archery, but it is not restricted only to archery. It is much more wider connotation, and this takes into its embrace the entire weaponry or armory war science, war strategies. So different viewers, different astras, shastras, all these are described in Vasishtha Krita Dhanurveda. There is my lecture on Dhanurveda on YouTube. On YouTube, there are 40, 50 videos on IKS. I started when I was in CVV 4 years back. You can Google my name or IKS talks, and you will come across the IKS OLA lectures. It's run under OLA, OLA, Open Learning for All. So you can have more information on that also. So Yajurveda has Dhanurveda, then Samaveda has Gandharva Veda, that is the science of or the Veda of singing and dance and drama. And so we have Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra, which comes under that, right? Natya Veda. And then Atharva Veda, the last Veda, has Artha Shastra as its Upaveda. And according to some, it has Sthapatya, Vastu Shastra, as its Supaveda. So if we add these, then it becomes Ashtadasha Vidyasthana. Got it? So Ashtadasha Vidyasthana or Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, that is the basic IKS. And in addition, we have the 64 kalas, and that on kalas also there is a lecture in the open learning for all, so you can listen to that. There the list also is given there. So now all these are the Indian knowledge systems. Now how can we integrate that? Okay, we are not just basking in the old memories. We do revere and honor our knowledge traditions, but how to make use of that? Otherwise, it remains in that cascade. It remains in the books in the libraries. It doesn't percolate to our common and today's syllabi. So, why this integration should happen and how it should happen? Now, NEP 2020, when it came, 4 5 years back, it had four like objectives for integration. One was Bharatiya Drishti, Indian perspective, because Bharatiya Drishti is sustainable. See now for yourselves, there were so many ancient civilizations. Which civilization has survived the onslaught of time? It is only the Indian civilization. You talked about Egyptian civilization, we talked about Babylonian, Sumerian civilization, Egyptian, Greek, Mesopotamian, Mayan civilization. They don't have anything which is continuous in the tradition. It is only the Indian civilization, right from thousands of years, from millennia. It is running even now. So, sustainability is the main objective. And therefore, whatever we do in our syllabi, we must have that Indian perspective because that alone is sustainable. Second is multidisciplinarity. We always say, that we divide our education system, especially the higher education system, in arts and science and commerce and engineering and agriculture and medical and this and that. They all become watertight compartments. Ancient education system was never given in the watertight compartments or the separate isolated silos. They were all multidisciplinary. In fact, Bhartruhari says that whatever we study, prajna vivekam labhate bhinnai ragama darshanaihi, our prajna, our intellect, gets the capacity of differentiation only when it deals with different types of shastras. If you go into one shastra only, you can achieve vertical strength in that, but there is no lateral backing to that, no comparative study to that. So bhinnaihi agama darshanaihi prajna vivekam labhate. Otherwise, one shastra, kiyamunnetum shakyam swatarkam anudhavatah, that is what we say. And therefore, you have to be very keen on getting bit by bit knowledge from other streams and other fields as well. Then rigor is the third. Four pillars of NEP I'm talking. First is Bharatiya Drishti. The second is multidisciplinarity. The third is rigor. Whatever, you can't just blindly follow what your teachers say. You have to get it validated on the कसौटी. जो बोलते हैं ना, कसौटी का पत्थर, कसौटी पे घिस के लेना है. What is that कसौटी? That is your vivek. That is your whatever aptopatiyad yajjatam pramana anumanabhyam pramanayet. So pratyakshanumanabhyam pramanayet. You have to validate it by your tarka, by your inference, by your logical deliberations and rational thinking. You can't just blindly follow what your teachers say. whether it is really applicable. Shravana is one thing, you listen to your gurus, but manana, you have to think and reflect on that and then come to a conclusion, is it not? And therefore, aptopadeshadi ajjatam. So that requires rigor. This rigor is seen not only in learning, but learning in higher studies like for our PhDs and doing research, anusandhana and all. And for that especially, you must learn how the knowledge kept in the libraries will be brought to the laboratories. So from library to laboratory, this should be the journey of every knowledge. So from theory to practicality and implementation, if we don't do that, then we have lost that rigor. And I'll show you how the knowledge is not just for the sake of knowledge, how it was implemented by our ancient people. And this is up to us now to follow them and try to inculcate and imbibe at least a part of that in whatever we are doing now. Okay, so that is the third one. And the fourth pillar of NEP is innovation. Innovation, something new. Whatever you do, present it in a newer form, not just in a lecture form. So now we have come out of that lecturing blah blah blah, and we have got so many assignments, we have got group discussions, we have got excursions and field visits, hands-on experience. We call it by different names. So this is bringing innovation. And the children, they can perform a skit, whatever they have learned, they perform a skit and reveal and manifest the acquired knowledge. So these are the innovations which we come across. So this is what is expected in NEP, and this could be brought out by 4 educational activities. And these 4 educational activities are Anushtana, Anubhuti, Anuvyavasaya, and Anushasana. Now, these are the words which are used by the IKS coordinator, NEP coordinator, Ministry of Education, Ganti Murthy. So I owe this to him. So the fourfold educational activities, Anushtana, content creation. So to integrate IKS and CKS, you must create a content first, right? Then Anubhuti, experiential knowledge, feeling proud of what you possess. Unless you feel proud of your heritage, you are not going to integrate that into your syllabus. And therefore, Anubhuti, that feeling of pride, I am an Indian and I'm so proud that my ancestors have given me such a great knowledge. And Anuvyavasaya is application or experimentation of knowledge. I will tell you in the coming slides how this Anuvyavasaya could be done, And then Anushasana, some educational discipline, uniformity of policies. So on the university basis, there have to be, the management has to pass out some policies, and they should pass, some orders and some governance, some stipulations, and which are like, compulsory things for all the faculty to follow. So unless we do that, we are not going to implement it fully. So, Anushtanam, Anubhuti, Anuvyavasaya, and Anushasanam, these are the fourfold educational activities which help us to seek the integration. And the transformative modules in the curriculum can be prepared with these. And we'll see, for example, I'll give you many examples. Now, this is the psychology example, which was implemented in our in the university. I left university 4 years back, but because I was a vice chancellor and a dean of faculty in the university for 3.5 years, so I'm still associated. Associated means emotionally associated with this, and we did experiment on all these things, and therefore I feel, everybody else should do that. So what we did, 3 stages of curricula development. Content creation, that could be done in 3 ways. One is offer independent courses on IKS and CKS. For example, Indian CKS psychology, for example, industrial psychology, then what that counseling and this and that, there are so many varieties in that. So, for example, independent course, Indian concepts of mind and consciousness and Western psychology, something to compare, right? And then this could be a compartmentalized independent course. Then there will be a complementary course like cross reference courses like Indian psychology, health, and yoga psychology. So interdisciplinarity, one complementing the other. Because Yoga Shastra is not just the physical postures. What 21st June we perform yoga is only asanas. Asana is 1/8 of the yoga. 1/8 Ashtanga Yoga Patanjali prescribes, and asana is just one part. And Patanjali has written only 4 sutras on asana. The entire Yoga Sutra talks about mind management, the psychology. And therefore, something to relate with the psychology and Yoga Sutras could be done, which are like complementary courses, and some are like integrating courses, yoga psychotherapy and Indian approaches to psychotherapy. So you bring in the modern approach to psychotherapy and you bring in whatever is prescribed by Patanjali. So in this way, the content of the courses, content creation could be done in 3 ways. Then there is a content research. So develop and integrate Indian wisdom with modern scientific methodologies, and students can take up research projects, assignments. The faculty of psychology can do some research with some Ayurveda person or with a yogic science graduate, because these are interdisciplinary. So research could be done. And then other offer training and workshops to promote applying these integrated models in the clinical psychology, educational psychology, and other things, right? So in this way we can just go ahead in integrating the psychology or some such things, which we really want to promote. Then there are so many like papers we can produce, and some of these papers were really produced in CBV, like correlation between the Triguna personality model and workplace identity. What a beautiful topic. वही घिसे पिटे चर्वित चरवण किए हुए पिष्ट 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 पेषण किए हुए टॉपिक क्यों लेना है, कुछ अलग से करेंगे ना. So something different. As there is a topic on Triguna, you can take a topic on Panchakosha, or the test construction on stress, and a questionnaire based on Indian psychological approach of yogic klesha model. So there are Panchavidha klesha, which Patanjali talks about in his Yoga Sutras: avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. So why there is a stress now? Stress management has become a keyword, has become a buzzword. But why do you get stress first of all? So the stress could be caused by asmita or raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. You go to the root and cure it. There is no superficial treatment for that. So Klesha model of Yoga Sutra and Indian psychology can be brought together. And these were the papers like Bhagavad Gita and management, or inner peace and grief management in Bhagavad Gita. All these stress management in the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna, if he stands for a person who is like with a split mind, because he is under tremendous stress and he is caught into his duty and his emotions, whether he should fight or he should care and emotionally be involved, because all others are there like putran, pautran, tatha, bhratrun, etc., etc., guruns tata. So that can be compared with the modern psychology. So many such things are there, These are some of the examples. Now, I have given here like what all you can do: mind management with Yoga Sutras, consciousness studies with Advaita Vedanta, then technical sciences. These are the Shiksha Kalpa Vyakarana Nirukta, which I was telling, with Chaturdasha Ashtadasha Vidyasthanas. Then leadership and governance with from Arthashastra, from Dharmashastra, from Mahabharata. Mahabharata Shanti Parva is itself, a very good Vastupat, good lesson for governance. Then the Kachidadhikarana from the Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, that is also a good chapter on the inevitability of a governance to the state. When Bharata goes to Ayodhya, Bharata tells Rama that I will also continue to stay with you. I don't want to go back. That time, Rama accepts. So that is called a Kachidadhyaya in Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda. Uh, if there is no king, there is nobody to supervise, there will be a chaotic condition all over. And to avoid that chaos and create cosmos out of that, there has to be a ruler. There has to be someone who takes care of his subjects, his people, and therefore he drives him back to Ayodhya. He sends him back to Ayodhya. So there are so many examples. We don't know. That doesn't mean that didn't exist anything on these matters, right? It is our ignorance which stops us from doing comparative research. Okay. And then we have engineering and architecture with Vastu Shastra. I will come up with a few slides for that. Then mathematics with Shulva Sutra, I have a few slides for that. And healthcare and well-being with Ayurveda, much is talked about that, so I am not dealing with this. I will deal with some chemistry and metallurgy, then Shulva Sutras, the geometry and mathematics, and Vastu, engineering and architecture, and how the ancient Indian sciences could be brought into the modern curricula. Now, one more example before I go to the sciences is the Arthashastra thing. Especially here for our BCom and all, we had, the tax management and the bookkeeping and other topics which they have. For that, they need to know the financial management. For the management, BBA and BCom courses, we have financial management or money management. For that, what are the sources of getting money? And what are the different names for that? See, Arthashastra of Kautilya, Kamandaka's Nitisara, and Mahabharata Shanti Parva, they have, tremendous material on this, mainly borrowed from Arthashastra and some from Nitisara. So, Mulya is a price of a commodity. And therefore, we have something which is invaluable. We call it Amulya, right? So, Mulya is a price. Then, Bhaga is a share. So, 1/6 fixed share. In fact, in olden days, 1/6 of whatever your earnings had to be paid as a tax to the king. And therefore, very interestingly, the tapasvi people, the hermit people, the monks, they didn't earn any money, right? But whatever punya they earned by practicing penance, by their austerities, that they owed to the king, because the king was taking care of the Gurukulas. So whatever you earn, it may be tangible, it may be intangible. Tapas or punya, the merit, is intangible. Whereas, you grow grains and you give 1/6 of the grains, that is tangible. You have an orchard and you give 1/6 of the fruits to the king, that is tangible. But there are so many intangible factors also. So that is also taken care of. 1/6 was the bhaga, dharma. And therefore, if people do adharma, people are not very good. And, we always say, yatha raja tatha praja. If the king is good, the people will do good. If the king is bad, the ruler, king, because we had autocracy then, now in the democracy, we can say the prime minister or the president or the chief minister, whosoever governs, right? So if they are good and they are following the righteous path, they are following dharma, then the praja will do that. And if the king himself is a dharmic, then the praja will also be a dharmic, and the king, borrows one-sixth of their demerit as well, papa as well. So it is not only good things, even the papa, one-sixth of that goes to the king. So dharma goes to the king. This is very important concept. Okay. So dharma, that is bhaga. Then vyaji, it is 5% commission. Vyaj, vyaj bolte hai hum, surcharge for weights and measures. Then parigha is a gate toll, money for ferrying people from one bank to the other across the streams, rivers, etc. Then klupta is a fixed tax on the waterways. Then Rupika is 8% of manufacturing charge for those who manufacture, purchase, something like GST and all nowadays. Then because Rup is shape or form, manufacturing, the product which is the end product, on that there is 8% of tax. Then Atyaya is penalty for violating any rules, transgressing any rules. There is a penalty that is also in cash or kind. Then Shulka is the custom duty, and we had custom houses called Shulka Shala. How to evade Shulka, custom, that also Chanakya says. Very interesting. Then Pranaya is not just love, Pranaya is love, but Pranaya here means levy, which is levied on grains, etc. Then Vartani is a road tax, and when people travel from one place to the other, they have to pay tax. Danda is again penalty. Danda and Atyaya, there is short, little difference. Atyaya is transgressing the rules, where after doing some crime, the judge imposes fines and penalty on the criminal. Then Pratibhaga, Bali, Kara, etc. All these are different things. So they can help you, understand the financial management. On this also in Arthashastra, there are 2 talks in order to, benefit from that. Now coming to the mathematics and chemistry, geometry and other things, quickly I will go through. So we have, a long chain of mathematicians in India. And of course, this starts from the 5th century, from Aryabhatta till the 14th century. But we had, even before that, mathematics in the form of Jyotisha. I was just telling you that Jyotisha is Graha Ganita, Graha Jyotisha, and therefore there is lot of Ganita involved in that. Secondly, in the Pingala Chandas Sutra, if you have come across, I don't know, Chandas Sutra you may not know, but binary system is developed from the Chandas Sutra. And the modern mathematicians make use of Pingala Sutras. If you have seen the Meru Prastara, the cubes and the rubric and all that, the magic squares and all that, they are all based on the Meru Prastara and all. It's all based on the binary system given by Pingala in the Chandas Sutra. So there was a long tradition. These are some of the names: Aryabhatta, Bhaskara 1, Bhaskara 2, Bhaskaracharya. Second was in the 12th century, first was in the 7th century. So many Ganitadnyas are there. In Kerala especially, we have Madhava Ganita. Madhava Ganita. In fact, there is a Sangrama village in Kerala where Madhava's house is yet preserved. So Kerala has a rich tradition, and this is called as Kerala mathematics. So Kerala has the Narayana Panditas, Ganita Kaumudi. So many texts are there in mathematics. Okay, and Kerala has its own tradition there. Now coming to some part of geometry, Shulba Sutras, I was telling you there are 4 types of sutras: Shulba, Griha, Dharma and Shrauta. So Shulba Sutras are part of Shrauta Sutras. While performing the Shrauta rituals, you have to construct a Vedi, fire altar, Chiti, and for that you need to know geometry. And Ganita Kaumudi of Narayana Pandita gives pi, the value of pi, till 14 digits, something, 28 digits or something. So 3.1 by 4, and this comes in the form of poetry also. That is not the topic today, so I'm not dealing with that. But the exact this one, the sutra for that is Chaturadhikam Shatamashtagunam, etc. And when you decode that, you arrive the figure 3.1465926 something something something. Then the what we have popularly studied as a Pythagoras principle, that is the areas produced separately by the length and breadth of the rectangle or a triangle together equal to the area produced by the diagonal. So the AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. All this, so Pythagoras was in 5th century BCE in Greece, whereas Baudhayana Shulva Sutra is dated 800 BCE. Now you yourself decide who is the older one to give you this principle. Based on this principle, we had sacrifices and chittis, different fire altars made. In this, you see the cursor, there are three types of agnis, basically. Three types of agnis. This is called Ahavaniya, which is the squarish. Normally we have for Havan Kunda, it is squarish, Ahavaniya. Dakshina is like with the shape of English D, it is half circle, exactly half circle, okay? And this Garhapatya is circular. And interestingly, the area of all these three chittis is the same. There were some sacrifices called Soma sacrifices, and for that, a chitti, a fire altar in the shape of a hawk, a bird, was prepared, and this involved 1005 bricks in all. The shape were some were square, some were rectangle, and some were triangle, as you can see here. Some are rectangular, some are triangular, some are squarish. And this was a 12-day yajna called Satra. And this is the east. The beak of the bird faces the east. Yajamana offers all the oblations here in between the fire altar, and he sits here, okay, facing the east. And supposedly, after performing that, he goes with the bird to the eastern direction to the Swargaloka, from the east to the Swargaloka. So this is a Kamya Yajna for material happiness, for Swarga Prapti, for getting sons and heaven and all that. Now, is this just a theoretical knowledge? See, whenever we talk about our ancient civilization and all that, we must remember that we have, the literature to that effect. We have the excavational findings discovered through the excavations, archaeological findings, and we must have the living monuments to that. If these three things are there, we can talk about the uninterrupted tradition of any civilization, right? And India has all that. Now, when I talk about this is the literary evidence in the Shulva Sutras, but then we have found out in excavation, Shenachiti found in Purola in Uttarakashi, dated 1st century CE. See, exactly the same shape, made up of bricks. This is the bird's beak, and this in between is the offerings which are made in the fire. Shenachiti. Similar Shenachiti was found in Kerala also. Kerala is a land where even now Soma sacrifices are performed. 2 years back, I had attended one Soma sacrifice in Kannur, North Kerala. And 2 days I was there. And as per the theory of the Shrauta Sutras, everything was done, no compromises in that. And everything, a separate Yajnashala was erected, and everything was done in the most scientific and most prescribed manner. Okay. Now, this is also another type of chitti, Kurma chitti, found in Chhattisgarh, and it is dated 4,000 years old. See, these are excavations. So this is not just, that this was only literature and there is no proof to that. There are proofs which are found even now. This is the Chithi found in Kerala. I mean, this was made in Kerala. And this is a fire altar. And fire altar was not only, there were different shapes, like tortoise shape fire altar. Don't you need geometry for building all that? Tortoise shape, then octagonal altar, this has 8 uh, angles, then hawk shaped altar, this is the hawk, Shena Chiti it is called, then square, this is the complete square, then isosceles triangle, this is an isosceles triangle, this is Shena Chiti, this is square, this is isosceles triangle, then this is rhombus, this is the rhombus, and area is the same. What amount of mathematics, especially geometrical knowledge, must be required to build such fire altars? So we can't question the wisdom of the ancient seers who did all this. Okay. Now that was about mathematics and all. Something about chemistry and metallurgy, only a slide. So on, we have, of course, I forgot to bring in that Delhi's iron pillar, right? In the complex of Qutub Minar, there is an iron pillar. Of course, the iron pillar was not there. It was brought from Madhya Pradesh and was posted in Qutub Minar complex later on. But that stands in the open air, in the wind and chill cold of Delhi and the fog and smog and rains and everything, and not rusted at all. So what sort of coating is there on that iron? That requires metallurgical knowledge, and we have so many texts on that. Rasaratnakara, then Rasaratna Samuchaya, this is the most famous text, and it mentions some 40 types of different rasayanas to be prepared, by alloys to be prepared, by amalgamating, by mixing two metals and all that. And there are some other texts also. So, and these are some of the yantras like Tiriyak Patana yantra. We used to do this prayoga, this, in the laboratory when I was schooling. I remember having done this prayoga. You heat something in this, and then through a Vakranalika, this goes back, that vapor goes back into a kalasha, into a cubicle here, what is that called, crucible, and then you pour hot water and cold water on that. The vapor comes in the form of water, and this is used for making potable water from the saline water. The water gets desalinated, the vapor comes in this, and then you pour cold water and you get a potable water. Okay, so all these things are there. So this is chemistry and metallurgy, and now we come to, I think, engineering perhaps. Yeah. So by definition, engineering and architecture, you can have Encyclopedia Britannica and all that. Application of science to the optimum conversion of the resources of the nature to the use of humankind is engineering. That is what Britannica says. And architecture or engineering are divided. I mean, they go hand in hand. Architecture can be broadly categorized into 3 main areas: temple construction, urban planning.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yes, yes, time up.
Ma'am, the PPT is not visible now.
It's
PPT is
not
not
visible.
visible.
Why
Yeah,
not
it's
visible?
visible.
It's
Now,
visible to us, ma'am. It's
now
visible to
it's
us.
visible.
It's visible, ma'am.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So
Is it
this
visible to
temple.
all? Okay, okay. Please, ma'am, continue.
Okay. I thought time is up. Okay, so temple architecture, then urban planning and large scale public welfare projects. These are the three main areas in which architect can serve mankind. And that we will see in the following slides. And engineering, this is a branch of ST, science and technology, and it is concerned with four main areas like the design, the blueprint, then the economics of operation, the logistics, then building structure, exactly the construction as such, and use of engines, machines, and mathematics for that. Okay, so these are the four main areas which are inevitable to engineering as a branch of knowledge. That is, I have got from Google, from different lexicons, from Britannica, and all that. So nobody can question it, right? Now I am going to show you how in all these areas there is something which India has to give, and that is sometimes in the form of written text, sometimes in the form of living monuments. If there are monuments now, there must be a science and manual of building those, right? The monuments are still there for thousands of years. And so I will show you a few things. Now for design, I may tell you, and most of these sites which I am telling you examples, I have visited myself and I have confirmed and ensured that these are true and not just the Google information. Okay? Because Google information is not always 100% correct. So the design for that, I can take you to in Madhya Pradesh near Bhopal. There is a town called Bhojpur, and there the biggest Shiva temple. It would have been a biggest sun temple, Shiva temple now, the biggest, the tallest lingam, but he was invaded by the Mughals and the Paramara king Bhoja fled away, leaving that temple incomplete. Okay, but there are a few things, like. Which are there? No, I don't have that slide. Okay. I made it for some other purpose, and I had shown that slide. It's okay. So this Bhojapur, there is a blueprint of that, so to say, because on a rock there, and now that rock has been preserved by ASI, Archaeological Survey of India. On that there is carved the design of the entire temple. That is something called a blueprint. Okay, on the paper the engineers go with that blue checkered paper, and then see this is to be done, that is to be done, etc. Now this is all carved on a single slab of stone, and that has been preserved by ASI now. And there is a garden besides that. There are barricades so people can't go in and spoil that. And another thing, this is on a hillock. This Shiva temple is on a hillock, and how the material was taken up the hill. Now uphill transporting something, no JCB machines, right? No other samsadhanas, no other resources. So they used to build ramps, and from the ramps on the backs of elephants and in the bullock carts, the stones were carried out to the hilltop. The ramp is still there. Normally, every temple which was built, be it Brihadishwara temple in Tanjore also, 80 ton this big stone, the granite is placed on the top. How that 80-ton stone was transported there? This is the tallest of the gopuras in the world. And in Tanjore Brihadishwara temple, how that 80 stone, it looks so small from here. I mean, from ground, it looks so small, but that is 80 ton. How they have transported? There were ramps built, and once the temple is complete, the ramps were destroyed. Now, this temple was left incomplete, and therefore the ramp is still seen. So that is very, very unique to the Bhojpur temple. If you go to Bhopal anytime, do visit Bhojpur. And in Madhya Pradesh only, there are Bhimbetka caves. So that also you can visit to have, the first ever information of the concept of horse in, can you call back later? So horses were there, so there are so many pictures of horses in Bhimbetka. These are prehistoric cave paintings. So that also I have seen. So anyhow, that's another topic that goes in the Kala, not here. So that is the design part. Economics of operations and logistics, for that, you can take an example of Sri Rangam temple. In the Sri Rangam is an island between two rivers, Kaveri and Vaiga. And this is the Ranganatha Swami temple. There is a what is that, Pranava Gopura Mandira, Pranava Gopura, and so very famous, one of the Divyadeshams. And there are Sapta Prakara, 7 courtyards. And then you can go to the temple. There are multiple Gopuras and Sapta Prakara. And even today, I have visited Srirangam also 2 times and I have seen it. Even today, the outermost Prakara will inhabit the people who are serving in the temple. They will bring the milk to the for the Abhishek. They will bring water. So all this is the logistics. The logistics and the operations, the workers, they will be working for construction of a temple for many years. So the king or the person who has given donation for that has to take care of their livelihood, their, roti, kapda, makan. These are the 3 primary needs of human beings, right? And he has to take care of that. So all that logistics, the operations, that you can see, homes and other things, transport, etc. in Sri Rangam temple. Then building exact actual construction. So construction is in the form of temples, is in the form of palaces, is in the form of tanks, step wells, and fire altars. Fire altars we already seen, and how mathematics was used we have already seen there. Okay. Now we go to the next slide. So this is now Konark Temple. So 13th century Konark Sun Temple. This is also I visited in 2003. So built using black granite and took 12 years to complete that. And the sun idol was suspended in the air as there were magnets used in the construction. And first ray of the sun, this is the famous, the sundial we call it, right? The first ray of the sun fell on the gigantic sun idol kept inside the main temple complex. So this is the applied IKS. This is not just theory. The Ganita, the minute Ganita is applied here. And the multidisciplinarity which is brought by NEP, see how many sciences and how many branches of learning are involved in one temple construction. There is astronomy because the Earth's trajectory, the planetary movements must be known, and accordingly the sundials have been carved there. Shilpa Shastra, intricacies of carving, strength of the material, so Sthapatya Vidya, the temple architecture. Then actual construction, and for that you refer to Vastu Shastra, the adhesives which are used. There was no cement then used, right? So organic adhesives were used, not the chemicals one, but the herbal ones, the organic ones were used. And that was there. And magnetism, see the whole sun Vigraha, Surya Vigraha was up and it was pulled by the magnet down. So interdisciplinary research needs to be carried out like we had in Konark Temple. So this is just one example. Like that, there are other examples. This is Brihadishwara Temple built by Rajaraja Chola, and the construction was completed in 1010. And first complete granite temple, around 60,000 tons of granite used, and granite is not mined nearby. So it is transported from Andhra Pradesh, from Kadapa to this place. See the transportation. has the world's tallest Vimanam, the temple tower, and the Kumbham, weighing approximately 80 tons of granite. And there are some musical pillars also producing different sounds. So these are the temples. But then there are some public utilitarian constructions like step well. And step wells you find in Gujarat and Rajasthan more because scarcity of water. And they are deep, deep, deep down. The sun rays can't evaporate the water very soon. And they will be like tapering like here. The sun rays may fall like this and this, but they won't reach the water. And multi-storied, and all these stories, are carved with beautiful sculptures. So this is Adalajni Vav, Adalaj Vav, Rani Ki Vav, and a lot of potential in exploring the scientific principles underlying the huge construction, especially the temples and step wells. Then we have something in the South India, in Vijayanagar, Karnataka. Krishnadevaraya used irrigation techniques. I have visited Hampi and Vijayanagar 2 times. So network of canals brought Tungabhadra water in Hampi, and I may tell you Tungabhadra flows 24 kilometer away. So how that water was brought to the to this capital of Vijayanagar, to the Krishnadevaraya, and he has dug up a canal around his city, and that is called as Rayara Hole. Hole is a stream in Kannada. I belong to Karnataka. So Rayara Hole, Raya is Krishnadevaraya. So Rayara Hole, the stream of Krishnadevaraya, and it still flows. Another remarkable thing is, for drinking water, he has built aqueducts. These are the ducts, aqueducts. These are stone ducts, stone channels to carry water from Tungabhadra, which flows 24 kilometers away. See the water management and the irrigation technique and the transportation skills. Then from Arthashastra, we have some references. So this is development of irrigation facilities like Sahodakam, Aharyodakam, Setum, building of dams and all. Brihat Samhita of Varaha Mihira, 54 to 57, these chapters, they deal with, especially Dakargala Dhyaya. Dakargala is the deep underground water. How to find the deep underground water. There is water inside. How to find it out? He has given some conjectures, some guesses, and I may tell you in Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Tirupati University, they made such Dakargaladhyayana. So they implemented the techniques of Varahamira, which he gave in the 6th century CE, and 90% results were positive. That means wherever they dug up for boring well and all, they got water. So these are the things which are proven and tested by our ancestors. So we must experiment. Who stops you from experimenting? Nobody stops you, right? So why can't we do that? And then future relevance, I think I'll stop now. So many IITs and IIMs, every IIT now, lagbhag, every IIT in India has an IKS cell, right? Though they are science and technology institutions, they have IKS cell, and many things can happen. And, especially the technicians and technologists and engineers, if they come forward and try to unearth the text, I think they can help the humanity to a larger extent. Okay, so I think I'll stop after this because so many things are there, but then I have to stop somewhere. I have already taken much time. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you especially Vikash Kumar for inviting me here. This is Medpalur Mana, the birth home of Adi Shankaracharya. I invite you all to this place. Sometime in life you have to visit this. This is such a serene and sacred place. So thank you for this, Hariom.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your insights, and especially thank you for reintroducing Bharat to all of us. Now, I would like to request all the participants, if you have queries, you can ask madam or drop your question in the chat box.
Can we ask, please?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am, please.
Namaste, ma'am. Actually, I'm just in this studies of IKS. Recently, I have joined. Previously, I was working in teaching. Uh,
Why don't you switch on your video? I can't see you.
Sorry, but right now I am not able to switch on the video, please. Um,
Normally,
Actually,
on online in online lectures, that is the problem of the speaker. I don't like all the videos shut off, so I don't know whether you are listening to me or not. You may be doing something else. You have just, online presence is there because the number has to be there, right? And people are doing something else at the other end. The speaker is talking to the walls. I really don't like this online business. That's why. Anyhow, yeah, go ahead.
I'm very sorry. Right now, I'm
So,
not able to on my video. Actually, I had some two minor doubts. Like as you have discussed about Ashtadash Vidyasthanani. So we have included Nyaya and Mimamsa in there. And what about Sankhya, Vaisheshik, and Yog Darshan?
Nyaya and Mimamsa speak about the other darshanas.
Okay, okay. So other
Because see,
darshanas include them.
I tell you, because now recently we have published two books. Just a minute, I'll show you that in June only we published two books on IKS. Just a minute. So this is one book called Chaturdasha Vidyasthana.
Yeah.
And the same tree which I have shown you, this is my favorite image. And therefore, I told the designer to make, I want this tree. And as a roots, I have kept the names of the 14 Vidyasthanas. Okay. So this is Chaturdasha Vidyasthanani, a primer on Indian knowledge systems. Okay. And for the Upavedas, there is another book, Upavedas IKS in application. Upavedas, can you see that? Upavedas IKS in application. And this deals with the 4 or 5 Upavedas. I told you 5 because for Atharva Veda, there is Arthashastra as well as Vastu Shastra or Sthapatya Veda. And this has, so many boxes and charts. There will be C maps, concept maps after every chapter. There is a concept map. So I think I have done it in a very friendly manner, colored pictures, some stories and all that. So this will be in some tabular forms, tables and all. So you can go for these. Every institute, I feel, must have, these are like the concept maps, C maps. At the
Yes.
end of chapter, every chapter, so this is Dharma Shastra. At a glance, you can have a glance and you know what are the different features of that. So I was telling you that Nyaya Mimamsa will represent the other darshanas. This is, for example, the Shrauta Sutra in a tabular form. Everything you can find.
Hmm. So
This
these are authored by you, ma'am?
authored
Authored
by
by
me. Yes, yes, authored by me. That's right. I have
Okay.
been working on IKS for so long, but there was no output. So people said that, no, why don't you bring out something which is student friendly? And for
Okay.
teachers who are teaching it newly, so it has become like, do it yourself. Do you know? So these are the features which are there. Some stories are there. In Mahabharata, especially, we have the Yaksha Prashna. So all the Yaksha Prashnas are given in an appendix. At one place, you find everything, right? And
Right.
some, along with the bibliography, I have given the bibliography. the websites or the talks of different people, you know. Of course, the IKS Ola lecture series, those links are also been given there. So I think this will be useful for you.
Where
Yeah,
can we get
one
this?
more, ma'am. One more thing, ma'am.
Hmm.
Actually, as initial slides, you were suggesting like integrated approach. So, like IKS and CKS. So, I have some doubts in that. So, pinpointedly, right now, I can ask when we integrate things. So, is there any possibility or fear of losing our Bharatiya Drushtikon? Like I had heard and read about this digestion theory written by Mr. Rajiv Malhotra. So I was just linking that with
When
this.
you integrate, how is there fear of losing IKS? You are
With
integrating IKS only, no?
I just thought ki integrating things with Western applications right now. We are not linking it with the Bharatiya perspective. So maybe
That is not integration then. Then you are working only on the Western concepts. If you want to integrate, you bring in the Bharatiya concept there. How do you lose it? How do you have the fear of losing it? Like I said, there is psychotherapy. Now, psychotherapy, the word is modern. But how that psychotherapy, we can bring in the yogic principles as yogic psychotherapy. That becomes integration. That's why I gave you some specific examples.
yeah,
Integration is
yeah,
bringing the old concepts of Indian medicine in the modern terminologies. These terminologies are not there in India, right? In the
yeah.
olden Gurukulas, we didn't have that. But what it means now, crisis management, is a new word. But what Arjuna was undergoing, wasn't it crisis, right?
Right, right,
So you
ma'am.
have to relate that way. You have to apply your dimag to that, you know, and bring in.
Yeah. Ma'am, could you please share your
Okay,
email
okay,
ID so that we
for
can
Dr. Shruti,
contact over
Dr.
the.
Shruti, we have another participants also.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
want to ask
I just
something,
suggested if
and yeah, yeah, and if anybody are interested to read the literature of respected Gauri Mahulikar ma'am, so these all books are available in the platform of the Amazon and Flipkart. So you all can purchase, and just I have received two books which madam have sent to me for the review. So these are the very excellent books. So you can read and purchase from there. So any participants, please.
in case, ma'am, can you share your email ID, please, in the chat box? We can communicate.
I will
We will
provide in
share.
the group.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
will
so much.
provide.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other
Anyone else
participants?
wants?
Uh, Naresh,
Mm,
you are mute. Please unmute yourself. You are
No, no,
mute.
I just wanted to thank and namaskar, ma'am. That's it.
Thank you.
I think there are no questions. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us and sharing such a great knowledge with us. I'm also thankful to all the participants for joining with us. Pranam, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hari Om. Namaste.
Mm,
और एक्चुअली कोई वही नहीं कि मैम का केवल एक लैंग्वेज में कंट्रोल हो, उनका एक लैंग्वेज में रीडिंग राइटिंग हो। मैम अपनी मदर टंग के अलावा तीन चार आई थिंक इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज जिसमें हिंदी, इंग्लिश, फ्रेंच और अन्य लैंग्वेजेस हैं, उसमें भी मैम का राइटिंग वर्क है। सो आप उन सभी जो रिलेटेड लिटरेचर है उसमें पढ़ सकते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
participants, I have shared feedback form link in the chat